Welcome to Hardwood Classics on NBA TV. I'm Bo Estes. Today, we take a look back to Christmas 1985 as the New York Knicks took on the Boston Celtics. Just a year earlier, Bernard King scored 60 points on Christmas Day. There was no Bernard King, but the Knicks did have a rookie named Patrick Ewing. What kind of gifts did Ewing have for the defending champs? Well, let's get to the action.
The Celtics have lost their last 3 games on the road, but they win the tip. Season series 2-0 in favor of Boston. Tucker is on Ainge. There's Larry Bird trying to get underway. Misses his first shot.
The Knicks on a rebound will kind of slow it down, but this game may pick up its pace because most teams beating the Celtics find the best thing to do is run.
Orr runs Bird into a screen and helps out on Patrick Ewing, and that's the kind of helping defense that Larry Bird's been known for. Sparrow is on Dennis Johnson. 10 on the shot clock. Off the screen is Danny Ainge. Teams are cold in the early going, but a loose ball foul has been charged.
The Knicks play very good inside defense, and with Patrick Ewing, one of the premier defenders down low, they're going to have trouble.
And Ewing has picked up a personal foul here. Less than a minute gone by in the first period. Cummings has the tough task against Kevin McHale, who's almost impossible to match up against. Harris trying to screen for Orr, and he's called for the foul. That was obvious. He just moved out 3 feet and tried to knock Orr away.
Quite obvious to me, Dick, they're trying to get Larry Bird off the snide early.
His scoring, his shooting, rebounding down from last year. He's been the MVP the last 2 seasons.
And handled with a back problem,
which he won't complain about. Ewing gets a feed inside, fights his way in, and Parrish with a rebound. So the Knicks going to their power man. Still no score, just about a minute and a half gone by. Kevin McHale breaks through.
There is the guy that they like to get the ball to. Nobody seems to be able to defend adequately against Kevin McHale.
Now the Knicks. Tucker gets through inside, but can't make the layup. And traveling call against the Boston Celtics. Well, we're seeing the Celtics trying to run more. What about the Knicks?
The Knicks kind of pull it up after they have a 3-on-2 opportunity. That's the extent of their fast breaks. They don't really pressure it up as much as perhaps the other teams do.
It's been one of the stories that have emanated in New York concerning Hubie Brown's style, as Kevin McHale fouls Pat Cummings, and a lot of people think that the Knicks have kind of a dull attack.
Well, it certainly isn't exciting, Dick, because they don't get any of those swooping layups and stuffs off the fast break that a lot of other NBA teams do. But they function half-court-wise very effectively because Hubie Brown is a master at execution.
Here's Pat Cummings. Cummings has scored 20 points in both games against the Celtics. In fact, he's the only Knick shooting 50% from the field.
They had problems in the last few games while he was out for 6 games with an injury, and it's taken him a little while to get back.
Well, it took the Knicks just about 2 minutes to score. Sparrow pressuring Johnson in the backcourt. Knicks have been known for holding teams down and playing low-scoring affairs. Bird free in the corner, and he's on the board.
With that press defense, Bird will have the open shot more often than not. Casey Jones wants him to take it.
Louis Orr. Since Orr's return, the Knicks have been virtually a 500 team. Now Danny Ainge is called for a foul. That is the 3rd team foul. 2 team fouls against the Celtics. The Knicks, when you're 9-19, you're not going to have a winning record anywhere. They're trying to get closer to 500 at the Garden. Trent Tucker with a good outside shot, misses a 3-pointer. Ainge. Orr with a tough assignment against Larry Bird. And it'll be a Knick foul inside.
That's where Larry Bird has really been having his difficulties. Trying to put him on, make him put the ball on the floor. It was almost automatic the last couple of years that Larry Bird would make these type of shots. It looked like so natural. Now it's almost like I can't believe he's missing them. But they've always been difficult shots.
Do you think he plays on a higher level than anyone else and therefore is scrutinized in what is just a average good game for him?
Well, he makes the unusual look normal.
McHale is fouled going in. Pat Cummings with his first personal foul. How do you defend against Kevin McHale if you were a coach and you had the right guy?
Well, McHale, once he gets the ball, he's got such long arms, and he's got all kinds of moves going to the hoop. You try to cut him off to the middle, as Cummings did right there with his body, and you end up getting fouls, however. But he's got that natural long arm advantage of getting the shot off against him.
He's coming off his best game, 34 against Philadelphia in a losing cause.
I tell you, he's developed some new moves this year, too.
The Celtics lead by 4 with 3 minutes going by here in the opening period. Dick Stockton and Tom Heinsohn here at Madison Square Garden. Ewing outside, and Trent Tucker, that's what he's in there, one of the top three-point shooters in the league. Celtics trying to run all the way back, and Bird can't convert inside.
There you see the difference. The Knicks make a basket, and immediately the Celtics push it up quickly to try and score an easy baskets. The Knicks don't do that.
That's a demoralizer, isn't it? Ball knocked away. It is still New York ball as Ainge helping out with Parrish on Ewing.
There's the made basket, long pass off the made, and Bird had an angle on the hoop. It would have taken a spectacular play, but they want to force the pace.
Tucker inside to Ewing. Double team. And they're going to call a 3-second violation against the Knicks. So obviously the Celtics are going to at least double team and maybe even triple team Patrick Ewing today.
Most teams are now. They know he's an offensive force, but what I'm seeing already is better positioning by Patrick Ewing than he did in the first game we telecast.
He was used to taking that 12-footer, and I think now he's getting closer to the hoop, which is what everyone wants to see him do. Johnson is fouled by Rory Sparrow.
Dennis Johnson is such a key player for the Celtics. Some of their problems developed when Johnson got hurt and hurt his wrist. They thought he was going to be out for about 10 weeks, and somehow they got the cure from Lewis for him, and he's back in the lineup.
In many ways, he's the barometer of this club, even with that great front line. He was ejected from the game in Philadelphia, and the Celtics lost. He had that sprained wrist, and the Celtics lost. And actually, if you think about it, he's maybe the true catalyst of this team.
He's developed into such a great all-around player, and the other teams he played with, he just played defense. Here he's offense too.
Sparrow. That's what the Knicks guards have to do, hit when they're open, and Rory Sparrow did it there. We haven't seen the trapping defense by the Knicks. In past years, it came from their second unit. They don't have necessarily a second unit anymore, although Ernie Grunfeld plays a big role there. Johnson going to the hoop and draws the foul. Good inside move by Dennis Johnson, and the personal foul is on Tucker. So all of the 5 Knicks starters have picked up personal fouls. These 3 rookies have made the biggest impact so far in the NBA. McDaniel of Seattle, Malone of Utah, and of course Patrick Ewing, who Hubie Brown said is maybe one of the most coachable people he's ever met. And here he is in an earlier action.
And here we're seeing that he's learned the lesson that closer to the basket is better, as he takes it in very close to the hoop with a nice pass and kisses it off the glass. But he, in the first game, was getting bumped up the foul lane a lot, so that he was getting 10 and 12-foot shots rather than those in-close ones.
The interesting thing is that he never practices, does he?
He's only made 2 workouts on the floor. He's been at every practice, but he hasn't worked out. He's had multiple injuries since the opening of the season, so his improvement is remarkable.
2 minutes and 40 seconds to go, first period. 17-12 the Celtics. Grunfeld on Bird. 8 points for Larry Bird, and he went by Grunfeld. Both teams shooting poorly so far. And Bird fouls Bannister. That'll be only the 3rd team foul against the Celtics, and the first against Bird.
Well, Bird, when he finds a man that he's not quite sure is a good passer, he'll go up and harass him, hoping to make a turnover. Almost picked the ball off.
Darrell Walker looking for Ewing, fires away. Scott Wedman into the ball game, gets the rebound, and Jerry Seasting. Bill Walton hasn't yet come into the ball game. Harris hits a baseline shot.
2 of the big Celtics up the court quickly that time, both Bird and Parrish.
Under 2 minutes to go, and you saw the big redhead waiting to come in on the side, as Casey Jones has opted for Seasting, and Wedman is the first 2 men off the bench in this game. 6 on the shot clock. Walker tipped up and in by Bannister. 7-point lead for the Celtics.
Boy, Bannister used that wide body to advantage that time.
Walker is on Dennis Johnson. Walker with a reputation of being a pesky defensive player. Grunfeld bodying up on Larry Bird doesn't do any good, as Bird is really taking advantage of Ernie Grunfeld.
He knows he can get the shot over the top of Grunfeld, and if he can get an angle, he'll use him to spin off too.
Sparrow guarded by Seasting. He's one of the new faces. Turnaround by Bannister. Parrish clears the rebound with 1 minute to go in the first period, and now the Celtics will try to open up an 11-point lead. Wedman outside throws up an air ball. He's been struggling, and of course the Celtics need that instant offense from him.
Here's Darrell Walker on the double team. It gets pitched out, and Walker will take it strong to the hoop. That's the real strong part of his game, and Bannister out-muscles Wedman for the offensive tip.
Gerald Wilkins, who was a second-round draft pick, and the man the Knicks say are the fastest player they have from end line to end line, has come in along with James Bailey as Patrick Ewing sits down.
Walker was playing at the quick forward spot. He was really out of position that first game we did.
Dennis Johnson. And Walker did quite a defensive job on Johnson. There's Patrick Ewing, who has 2 points and 3 rebounds as we have 38 seconds to go in the first period.
Here's a guy I have the ultimate respect for, Casey Jones, the quiet coach.
Doesn't say much, but it gets results, and the players obviously love playing for him.
He relates well to the players, has private talks with them, doesn't yell at them.
That's what they said.
Dennis Johnson. He's really being bothered by Walker's defense. Throws up an off-balance shot. And the Knicks get the rebound with 26 seconds, 20 on the shot clock. Trailing by 9. Off a screen, Gerald Wilkins. And Bird the rebound. Knicks cannot afford to miss outside shots because you know most teams pack it in against their big men. Celtics playing for the last shot. 7 seconds. Bird, pick and roll. Misses, and the buzzer sounds. That's the end of the first period. The Knicks scored only 6 points in the last 6 minutes of the period. And now you see why they're the lowest scoring team in many years in the NBA. And they've got a lead of 9 points over the Knicks. It's been 29 years since a team has averaged lower than what the Knicks are scoring, 95.5. In one game this year, they scored only 26 points in a half. That was against Indiana.
If they're inside people, Ewing and Cummings are not scoring well, they very definitely have offensive problems, and they haven't shown well here in the first half.
Walker and Wilkins at guard. Bailey and Grunfeld up front with Cummings. Walton is into the game, making his first appearance, as well as Rick Carlisle. So the Celtics and KC going deep into their bench here. Cummings over Walton hits. What has Walton meant to the Celtics?
He's given them extra defense in the center position, and Robert Parrish some extra minutes on the bench so he can run harder.
Walton is delighted, of course, was coming over Boston as Bailey commits the foul. So there's a look at Walton, who's playing hard at 33 years old.
It came to the Celtics with an awful lot of enthusiasm. But on the court right now, Dick, is the second unit of the Celtics that's really been having some problems.
In what area have they been in? Offense?
Offensively, they're like the Knicks. They're having trouble scoring points.
No one's like the Knicks when you talk about points. Wedman guarded by Grunfeld into Walton. Walton gets the basket, but his biggest contribution has been off the boards, hasn't it?
And perhaps getting the Celtic fast break going with quick outlet passes. He's renowned for that.
Lead is 9. Bird all over Cummings. Grunfeld shooting over Seasting. And Walton gets position for the rebound. They are starting the break with that outlet pass quickly to Bird. Knicks are back defensively. And they're going to call the foul on Ernie Grunfeld. He was all over the back of Scott Wedman.
We're going to see coming up on Where's the Bench here right now, the contribution over the years that the Celtics bench has made. Their championship season, 35 points a game, and it's down to 22 this season. So they're really having offensive woes there.
Of course, they have a lot of new faces, and they're just trying to get the chemistry going as well.
What's really significant, Dick, is that bench changes its personality. They're not inside players, they're outside players.
Wedman missing the shot. Actually, Walton is the only reserve that you can rely on from inside play.
In their championship season, don't forget, Kevin McHale was the 6th man. And he's a heck of an inside offensive player.
James Bailey in the lane. They don't expect scoring from Bailey. That's a bonus. They like his rebounding and shot blocking abilities. He's had an injured knee, and Hubie Brown looking for a contribution from him today. 25-18, the Celtics lead. 2 minutes gone by, second period. Walton falls down, and here comes Wilkins. He's fast. Walker on the break, and traveling call.
Hubie Brown says that one of the reasons we're having trouble with the fast break is we don't have enders. Well, Wilkins and Walker should be enders, in my opinion. They can stuff them on the fly.
And there's Bernard King, and it was a year ago on Christmas Day that King had a sensational game. He scored 60 points against the Nets. The Nets, however, won the game. What about the job Dave Wall is doing with the Nets this year?
Boy, they've been absolutely fantastic, and I tell you, he's making an imprint on that team. He gave a little static to Otis Bird's song, then to Michael Richardson. I tell you, he's around.
Bird missing, but the Celtics clawing for the rebound. Alley-oop to Ewing. That woke the crowd up. 2.5 to play. Bird missing. And now the Knicks with an opportunity to get something going before the end of this first half.
You know, this game is like a schoolyard basketball game played at nighttime with the lights out.
They're going to count the basket. Goaltending called against the Celtics. Lewis Orr will get credit for the basket. And now it's a 37-30 game. And as you pointed out, Tommy, like they're playing this game in molasses. It's like the Knicks are hypnotizing the Celtics, who had the lead, but now it's 7.
Well, sometimes when you play against a better opponent, you play better.
Basket will count, and a foul in addition.
And sometimes when you play against a lesser opponent, you play to that level, and coaches are very aware of that. But here you're going to see the potential of what the Knicks can possibly do with a Patrick Ewing. He's got great speed, and when he gets up the court, he makes a heck of a target.
That got the crowd going. Little excitement, and that's what the fans expected from Patrick Ewing. Meanwhile, following the goaltending call against Bannister, McHale makes good on a 3-point play, and it's 40-30 in favor of the Celtics with 2 minutes to go in the half. Bannister. The animal, as he's called. Short. Celtics have had to play this half slow down fashion. You know they didn't want to do that. Orr knocks it away, but he'll be called for the foul.
Well, that's how smart the Celtics are. They were looking for the matchup they wanted to work on, knowing that Bannister's in there and Ewing at the same time. He's going to have to be guarding a much bigger player. That time he ended up picking up Parrish, and they slowed the ball down until they couldn't cover Parrish.
Orr, with 3 personal fouls, goes out of the ball game, and Ernie Grunfeld checks in. Parrish on the line.
This guy, Robert Parrish, Dick, is an unheralded player in a lot of people's minds. Up in Boston, every once in a while you hear them, Robert Parrish isn't playing well. I'll tell you, he is rebounding better this year than he has in any of the previous seasons I've seen him.
Well, he knows he has Walton coming in behind him, so he can go all out as quick as he can. Doesn't have to pace himself. Once again, the Celtics are up by 11. Their biggest lead was 13, and Rory Sparrow hits from outside. He's been the only consistent outside shooter for the Knicks, if you want to call 3 baskets outside shooting. McHale, turnaround, traveling call against McHale. You know, you made a point about Parrish. A lot of people forget that he went in the playoffs last year against Cleveland and all those bangers, and then Lane Beer, Moses Malone, and Kareem. That's a tall order.
I'll tell you, and not a lot of rest did he get during that series, any of those series.
Knicks had an inside shot they couldn't convert. Under a minute to play in the first half. 3-point attempt by Larry Bird. He'll always hit that 3-pointer in crunch time, and of course with less than a minute to go in the half, he gives the Celtics a 12-point lead.
He likes to take the shots that can break your spirit.
Coming back short is Trent Tucker. Parrish the rebound. Parrish has 10 rebounds in the game. McHale against Bannister inside. Ewing with the block. Helping out, and a good play by Patrick.
But that's what the Celtics try and do. Quick post-ups.
26 seconds to go, and a foul away from the ball against the Celtics, and that will be their 15th foul, and the Knicks will shoot. That's Larry Bird's second personal. That's their First foul in the last 2 minutes and fourth team foul. Next one will put him in the penalty. Ewing elbows Bird, and Bird just stares at him.
He gave it the Stanislavski defense. Method acting there, Dick. Ewing just put up his elbow and watch Bird take the super flop and convinces the referee that, man, did he hit me with a high hard one.
Ewing didn't complain about it.
He's a rookie. He's not going to complain yet.
He
Wait
does.
a year or two.
He complains. McHale. Parrish on the other side.
Ewing had to help Bannister out as the Celtics are working that matchup.
Steele, Johnson misses at the buzzer. McHale with 11, Parrish 11, Bird 13. That keeps the Celtics in business. And the biggest lead of the ball game at the half, 46-32 Boston. Pat O'Brien coming up at the half. So far are Larry Bird and Patrick Ewing. Interesting that Kevin McHale is only 3 for 11 from the field.
He always seems to have some difficulties against the Knicks, and I don't think justifiably. He just has bad games. Certain teams you just don't do well against, and it looks like he has problems with the Knicks.
The Celtics are shooting 36%, well down to what they're used to. Knicks are 35%.
The Knicks, in order to get back in this ball game, Dick, I think really have to get out there and get aggressive on the defense, press, take away the inside game of the Celtics, make them go to the outside shots.
But Tucker misses the shot. Now the Knicks guards are 5 for 20, and Parrish at the other end burns them. So nothing has changed in the first foray up and down the court.
And that was not a nice thing to see at all. Coming out of the locker room, nobody hustling back to get Robert Parrish. Come on, Knicks.
Did you play for the? No, I know it.
Oh, you just come out of the locker room, you let a guy go up on an uncontested layup.
Some officials, some coaches would call timeout immediately if they saw that. And, you know, Hubie wants to see if the Knicks can settle down. They're down 48-32, 16-point lead, biggest of the game. McHale, Cummings knocks it away. Good move by McHale. Cummings overplayed, and then McHale burned him going inside.
And he beat the double team alertly, too, on that play.
And now Hubie Brown encouraging his team. This is what a coach has to do. When to yell, when to have the velvet glove.
Particularly with a young ball club like this is. But here it comes inside. They're taking advantage of Cummings. He makes a wild gamble to try and make the steal because he knows he's a dead duck if he doesn't. And there's McHale on the catch, moving strong to the hoop. You know, when you're playing with a team like this, a young team, a Patrick Ewing, you can't go get all upset. You have to wait till they grow into their roles with this ball club. And they know they really don't have all the parts yet to be a successful basketball team.
And of course, King and Cartwright are hurt. That's really the story of the New York Knicks. 50-32, a big lead. Ewing misses. A lot of green shirts are there, not allowing the Knicks to get second shots.
I'll tell you, aggressive Trent Tucker, though, was on the boards banging from the guard spot. That showed me something.
McHale, Bird, and Parrish all with 13 points in the ball game. That's 7 more than the Knicks have all together. Ewing, the rebound on Bird's miss, and Parrish prevented him from getting the outlet pass, and the Knicks then turn it over.
He's a happy man. It looks like he's getting a Christmas present here early.
We knew one of them would. Less than 2 minutes gone by. 2-point attempt by Bird, missing. Celtics are getting back on defense. Ewing gets tangled up for the moment. Not much for this Madison Square Garden crowd on Christmas Day to cheer about so far. Orr. And Bird gets the rebound. Johnson using McHale as a screen. Parrish having a fine afternoon.
They just did not get to Parrish quick enough with the double team.
And 12 rebounds for Robert Parrish, along with his 15, and the crowd a little displeased. Following the timeout, illegal defense called against the Boston Celtics. That's Carl Banks, one of the outstanding linebackers, one of the many outstanding linebackers that the Giants will send against Joe Montana and the 49ers.
I'm surprised Hubie Brown in this second half has not put that real pressing defense to work against the Celtics. It makes you come up with at least a more aggressive attitude.
A loose ball foul has been called against Pat Cummings. Second personal foul, and remember when the Knicks had cut the Celtic lead to 7? Well, the Celtics have outscored the Knicks 15-2 since then. So all the Celtics needed was a little scare. 52-32, 20-point lead. And it's Knicks ball. Do you think sometimes the Celtics are bored?
That's what a lot of people are saying, that their competition is boring them to death. I don't think so. I think they do get a little complacent sometimes, that they feel they can beat a ball club. But they've developed some problems with that bench. Yeah, today, the Knicks are not with it. Otherwise, we might be seeing some of those problems with the bench.
Parrish outlets to Bird, pass to McHale, who travels.
But look how quickly they got that ball up the court. McHale, they're trying to break that rhythm, that tempo that they've been having trouble with. Run. So even on this rather difficult game, they're trying to establish something for the next ball game.
Cummings goes out, and Gerald Wilkins checks back in for the Knicks. We'll try to get Ken Bannister in as well, but he's going to have to wait a while. It's 52-32 in favor of Boston. The Knicks have never had the lead in this game.
Ruby's got to try something.
Sparrow isn't going to dribble into a crowd. Bird is guarding Tucker now. Ainge is on Lewis Orr. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Sparrow better get it headed skyward. Just got it off in time but missed. And here's Ainge ahead of the field. Tucker fouls it. And Ainge says it should be a 2-shot foul. And he's right. It is.
The Knicks have a rule, no layups on a fast break, but the Knicks are trying so hard to bang that offensive board that they're leaving their backcourt uncovered. If the Celtics can get the rebound, they've got 2 or 3 guys streaking up the court uncontested.
They're going to say that when that foul was on the breakaway, so it'll be 2 shots and retain the possession for the Celtics, and that's a rule that was put in
because of the playoffs and all the aggressiveness a couple of years in the playoffs. And a breakaway foul means that if you come from behind to try and catch the man and grab him, it's an automatic 2-shot and you still retain possession of the ball.
Ainge, by the way, with his first points of the ball game on the free throw. Ainge and Dennis Johnson are 0 for 8 from the field. Shows you what that front court has meant for Boston today to open up that big lead. Bird on a feed from Dennis Johnson. Traveling call.
He knew Ewing was coming that time to block the shot. That's what forced the fake. That's called intimidation.
4 minutes gone by here in the third. The Celtics got a scare and then run away from the Knicks. Or will go to the line and shoot 2.
That time they triple teamed Patrick Ewing. He's getting all pro treatment right now. Double teams, triple teams. Hubie Brown, we just saw on the screen, a very frustrated man. Here's the triple team. 3 guys around Ewing, forces the pass. He makes a good pass to Louis Orr to find the open man, and he ends up fouled on the free throw line. But Hubie Brown is under a lot of pressure here to produce. You know, it's not easy to coach in New York with all the press. Some people saying he should run a little bit more with the offense. Maybe he should.
Well, he knows one way to coach. The Knicks scoring their first point of this half with 7:48 remaining in the third period. 54-33. McHale with 2 seconds to Bird. And the basket counts.
But they worked that defense. They made them really rotate.
Missing is Wilkins.
That's not his best shot.
Dennis Johnson. McHale. No basket and 3 seconds called against the Celtics. The Knicks 9-19. The last time they beat the Celtics was the 6th game of their Eastern semifinal 2 years ago, when they extended the Celtics to 7 games in an exciting series. They haven't beaten Boston since then. Offensive foul called against the Knicks.
That was excellent defense by Dennis Johnson that time. The front, Ken Bannister.
And the Knicks are 0 for 7 from the field this period.
Tough matchup for Pat Cummings to have to guard Larry Bird on this floor right now.
It's been a game of tough matchup for the Knicks period. Bannister trying to block out Wedman, does a good job, and the Knicks come back with a 3-on-2. Wilkins is fouled, and that's the first glimpse we've seen of a New York Knicks advantage on the break, and you get an idea of the kind of speed that Gerald Wilkins has.
Well, when he was playing a quick forward spot and they weren't fast breaking, the best part of his game wasn't being utilized. When he's in that big guard position right now, he's going to give him power on the boards, but you could use his speed at the quick forward spot.
Younger brother of Dominique Wilkins is having a fantastic year. Hubie Brown told us all you can do as a coach is get the players to play to their potential with what you have to work with.
Well, when you have to count on the very beginning of the season 2 rookie players in your starting lineup, you're behind the 8 ball to start with. And then with Cummings going down for the 6 games, didn't make it any easier, and the late signing of Louis Orr. So he's really had monumental problems to deal with.
Walton inside against Bannister and Cummings. Coming out of it is Sparrow. Sparrow.
Without Robert Parrish in there, no fear of going to the hoop.
And the Knicks showing some rare flash in this game. 58-43, 15-point lead for the Celtics. 3:45 to go in the third period. Bird. And the Knicks.
This unit in there for the Celtics has been the one that's concerning Casey Jones. They have not been productive of late.
What does he want him to do? Just hold the fort till the starters come back?
Yeah, or pick up the pace of the game to come out with something positive, not necessarily increase the score.
And we'll have a foul against the Celtics. Jerry Seasting. The Knicks have scored 10 straight points, and Robert Parrish on the bench for the Celtics has opened things up for the New York Knicks, who had only managed to score 4 points in a row on 3 occasions before this run.
Celtics with this group in here now, I think, are trying to fast break.
Wilkins going strong against Walton, who gets the rebound and throws it away.
Well, you can see how quickly he wanted to get that ball out to get that fast break starting. Unfortunately, nobody was out there for the outlet pass.
McHale in the game, as you saw, and the Knicks with 3:10 to go in the period trying to cut the Celtic lead to 13. Bannister goes strong inside, but goes off the rim.
Well, with McHale back in the ball game for Larry Bird, they'll slow it down and perhaps go a little bit more to McHale.
Scott Wedman from outside. Bird is the high scorer with 17 points.
Casey Jones has experimented several times on how to use this bench that's supposed to have so much promise. He started using them 5 at a time. Now he's back to filtering them in with a couple of the starters.
Bannister missed an opportunity. Wedman outside. Sparrow picked up by Seasting. And it's 60-45 with 2:14 to go. Sparrow is in double figures with 10. And the Knicks scoring leader today, as Ewing has 8 points and he's on the bench right now.
Well, Hubie's letting them just play right now, and they're liking it.
They're getting some results. Under 2 minutes to go in the third period. Knicks trying to scrap back in this game. Seasting no good. Cummings the rebound. Knicks were down by as many as 25. Sparrow drives in. And the crowd is on its feet, and Ewing may not be, but he's along with the applause. 13-point lead. Crowd thought there was a traveling violation, and so did Hubie Brown. 7 on the shot clock. Ainge for 3. And it's Knicks ball with 1:22 to go, and they may be back in the game, Tommy.
The second unit is still having offensive problems for the Celtics. Here's Sparrow, who pushes the ball up and now knows that Parrish is not in there, goes against the basket strong against Scott Wedman.
The Knicks are on a 14-2 run to cut the Boston lead to 13. And Cummings has his shot blocked. by Kevin McHale. Bird is on the bench, so is Robert Parrish, but if the Knicks continue to chip away, you'll see the two of them come in a hurry. Under a minute to go in the third. McHale. And they're going to call the foul against the Knicks, and Grunfeld claims Boston might have been involved. Cummings with his third personal, and now James Bailey checks in, giving Cummings a rest.
Kevin McHale has developed some real fine offensive moves in addition to that fall-away jump shot that's been so effective for him for the last few years. He's learning how to put the ball on the floor a lot more effectively.
Sam Vincent is into the ball game. His first appearance, the '1 draft pick out of Michigan State, and the man the Celtics think is going to be their future playmaker.
He's got the same potential for this ball club that Tiny Archibald had in one of their championship years when Bill Fitch was coaching the Celtics. He can penetrate, and he can really make that fast break sing.
They brought him along slowly, as the Celtics do with all of their rookies. 43 seconds to go. Bailey working against Walton, scoops it up. A little bit too hard off the glass, and Vincent clears. Seasting. Walton filling the lane, and a good play by Seasting in particular.
Yeah, but the guy that made it was Sam Vincent. Got the rebound and got his head up and looked up the court. That got everybody running.
16-point lead once again. The Knicks had it down to 13. Bannister setting a pick on a pick and roll. Walton defending. Bailey will go to the line. He's fouled.
Casey Jones has a feeling that Sam Vincent may be the key to unleashing the potential of that second unit. Here's Walton, who has hustled up after that long pass up the court to Seasting. He slips right down the middle before the defense can get in to stop him.
4 points and 6 rebounds for Bill Walton. And here's James Bailey. In his 7th year, he once went to the Final Four with Rutgers in the NCAA tournament.
He's kind of a guy that's gone from team to team to team, and it makes me wonder, are the teams wrong, or is James Bailey not that good a player? I always thought he was a great rebounder and a good inside player. I think some people are trying to make him more than he really was capable of being.
Bannister goes out and Louis Orr comes in. Bannister, 6 points and 11 rebounds, has played very well today. Maybe largely going unnoticed. Trap defense, turns it over. 2-on-1, Wilkins all the way. Down to 13 again. Vincent and Wilkins, couple of racehorses. And the Celtics throw it away with 2 seconds to go. Vincent off of Wedman.
He's finally using the trap press defense. They're getting very aggressive, the Knicks.
And a foul in the basket. You don't expect to see that.
Well, that down and out pattern with the clock running out. I don't think Bailey, once he caught it, if he'd been unmolested, would have been able to really get the shot off. The foul kind of more or less helped him. And there he is. Watch Walton's face. It definitely is not a good Christmas.
1 second to go in the third period. Bailey makes the free throw, and listen to the crowd as the Knicks have come within 10. That's the end of the third period with the score. The Celtics 63, the Knicks 53, and we'll return after this word from your local station. Dick Stockton and Tom Heinsohn in Madison Square Garden, where the place is alive and kicking. The Celtics led by 25 points in the third period before the Knicks went on a run to narrow it to 10. In fact, they have outscored the Celtics 20-5 to cut the third period margin to 10.
But where has the defense, that zone press defense that's always been an integral part of what the Knicks do? Look what can happen to you. You can't hardly see anybody. They cover you so well. They put Seasting under pressure. Here's the pickoff, and in comes Gerald Wilkins to make something really happen and get this crowd alive. That defense can make you aggressive offensively as well as defensively. It goes to your brain.
And that's what the defense can do. It can make you cough up the ball. And so Casey Jones, not taking any chances, opens the final period with McHale, Parrish, Bird, Johnson, and Sam Vincent in the backcourt.
And they're still pressing the Knicks.
It's a 10-point game. The question is, can the Knicks continue their surge, or have they run out of gas? Parrish, foul.
Casey Jones countered with his smarter ball handlers, Dennis Johnson, who can handle a press, and Larry Bird. That press defense was effective against the smaller Sea-Sting. Well, I'm very interested to see if Sam Vincent can handle it.
Foul is on Darrell Walker, and Parrish on the line. Keep in mind that the Knicks did all of that damage to get back to within 10 with Robert Parrish out of the game. Lead is 12, and Parrish has 17. Bird 17. And Ewing, who's only scored 8 points in the ball game, with 4 fouls. Sparrow's the leading scorer. Wilkins hits outside. He's getting an opportunity here, and he has scored 6 points and has been a spark plug for the Knicks as the trap goes on. Teams don't have a chance to work on this too often, and therefore a lot of times they cough it up. A loose ball foul has been called against Robert Parrish of the Celtics.
Right now, the Celtics are going to have to devise an offense to defeat the trap. Here's the trap developed. They fake it, they give it to Bird, and it has to go to the reverse side before the rotation. Now Parrish is open underneath the basket, but by the mishandle creates just enough time for Bailey to get in and anticipate blocking it.
Wilkins trying to use a screen by Orr. Double team now, but goes in with a fine move. Gerald Wilkins. Out of the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, sparking the Knicks. We're down by 25 at one point, now with their pressing defense trying to turn it over.
And where is your inside game now? That's what this defense does. Takes you away from the strength of what you like to do. I'm surprised they waited so long. As Wilkins using the screen, like his brother Dominique, comes strong to the hoop. Good up fake. What a great athlete.
Danny Ainge comes in for Sam Vincent, so no time for rookies as far as Casey Jones is concerned.
Not against UB Brown's press.
Nearly a minute and a half going by in the fourth period. 65-57. It's an 8-point lead for the Celtics. Dennis Johnson with a fine shot over the hands of Darrell Walker, and that's the first basket of the ball game for DJ, who's 1 for 7. He has been awfully cold.
Celtic guards have not exactly been burning the nets.
Orr working against McHale. The rebound, Bailey. Bailey and the Knicks bench is perhaps, I would say, outplaying the Celtic bench in this game.
Well, this is not the Celtics bench right now. This is the first team.
Oh, but when they were before, they're going to call goaltending against Bailey.
I like James Bailey. He's got an aggressive attitude. He comes to play. He'll bang with you. He's put a little life into this Knicks team.
But the Knicks bench has been more productive than Boston.
That's exactly right, Dick. And that was one of the things. Casey Jones wants his bench to produce more, and they haven't in the last several games.
10-point lead remains that way as Grunfeld misses and Parrish clears. Bird going baseline against Grunfeld. Larry Bird with 19 points. DeBusschere.
Still nobody sitting next to him.
Madison Square Garden in New York, where the Knicks are trying to make it interesting, at least for the Boston Celtics. Well, it looks as if the Knicks are saying, you've got all the big frontline people, Celtics. We're going to go with speed and try and beat you down the court with our defense sparking the way.
Unfortunately, the best team for defense to execute that press is a small team. Louis Orr now has to play power forward. Pat Cummings is back in the ball game now, but that with Cummings, with Orr and Wilkins at the forward spots, that really gives them a speedy press team. Now they've kind of adjusted that with Cummings in. He's not that good against the press.
Look at the Knicks shooting 73%. Boston not shooting badly, but the Celtics have come back, or the Knicks have come back. 6.5 minutes to play. Orr is playing in there with 5 personals. Parrish with another rebound. That's 17 for him.
This Knick team on the floor right now will not be as effective with the press as the prior team that was out there before the timeout.
Bird, line drive shot, Ewing the rebound. So maybe the Knicks won't press, but they look like they're going to go to their power game with Cummings And Ewing with Wilkins out of there now. Tucker a good outside shot. So once again, the Knicks guards are going to have to hit when they're open. And Sparrow does there.
He came off the pick beautifully.
Sparrow has 14, Tommy.
This is a basketball game.
Rory's hit his last 4. But down the crunch, you know, it's Larry Bird is the man you always have to watch. McHale going in. Cummings bodies him well. And now the Knicks can cut it to 6 with a basket here. Ewing made the most of a bad pass. And the Celtics commit a foul. That's their 4th team foul. And it's on Robert Parrish, number 4 on the cheek. Larry Bird has 19 points, and you know when it gets down to it, Bird is 7 for 22 for the day. Forget about what he's done earlier.
I'll tell you, his outside shooting is very important in this game, and he's not hit an awful lot of those.
Cummings over McHale. Knicks, Ewing off balance. Parrish finally comes down with it.
Celtics will have a chance to use their inside game. Unfortunately for the Celtics, McHale has not had a hot night either.
Tucker is on Ainge. Bird trying to get free inside. Parrish over Ewing. Or the rebound. Under 5 minutes remaining. 4:47. And an 8-point lead for the Celtics. They had a lead of 25 in the 3rd period. And now the Celtics will be over the limit with their 15th foul of this 4th period. Dennis Johnson.
Hubie Brown made a big gamble when he put Cummings in there. Says, I need a little bit more offense, even though it'll give the Celtics a chance to work their big guys in those matchups in a low post. Because we can't press. I'm gambling with that. And so far it's worked out. Parrish and McHale unable to hit in that low post.
The Knicks came into the game with the worst free throw percentage in the NBA, 67%. And Sparrow misses both, or saves it. Basket good and a foul.
It helps to be skinny. He had the outside position. He just slithered right by, I believe it was Robert Parrish, for that inside position on the missed free throw. There he is. Quick to the point, up and in.
Danny Ainge with his 2nd personal foul. And a 3-point play for Louis Orr. It's now a 5-point game. And the Knicks have made up 20 points between the middle of the 3rd period and right now, with nearly 4.5 to play. And the New York crowd is in a fever pitch right now. Parrish. And a foul is called against the Knicks, who now are over the limit. Rory Sparrow with his 3rd, and the Celtics will shoot 2.
Knicks are working extra special hard right now, and the Celtics were not able to destroy the rhythm of that press to prove to them that they could beat it, and it's taken effect on them.
The Knicks, who were down by 25, now trailed by 5 points, and with 4:27, what can we look for, Tommy?
Well, it's a tantalizing dilemma for Hubie Brown. Do I press, pick up the pace of the game to keep the ball out of the middle, out of the hands of McHale and Parrish, leave it in the hands of Larry Bird, or do I try to enhance my own offense by putting Pat Cummings in, who doesn't quite press so well? It looks like he's going to stay with Cummings and hope that his offense also produces.
Parrish having a fine game, winning that battle. Ewing and Sparrow each with 14, and Parrish with 20, the high scorer. Parrish, by the way, has tied his season's high with 17 rebounds. Nowhere near his career high of 32, but he hits the free throws, and it's a 7-point Boston lead. They're swinging around. Sparrow is open for the moment. Ainge picks him up. A lot of elbows inside. Ewing and Parrish, and Patrick Ewing banks it in. 4:05 remaining now in the 4th period.
That's got the Celtics thinking.
Ewing with 16 is the high scorer for New York. And we're going to see Gerald Wilkins and his speed come in a moment. Bird, guarded by Orr. Tough shooting game for Larry Bird. Not that time.
Well, Louis Orr couldn't believe it, Dick.
You throw out the statistics. I don't care what he's been shooting. Down the stretch, he's a different guy. Lead is 7 again. Ewing banks it in. 18 for Patrick Ewing to keep the Knicks in the ball game.
That's what I like about Patrick Ewing. He's a competitor. He never tosses in the sponge.
And they're going to call the foul on Sparrow. And that'll send Dennis Johnson to the free throw line. Sparrow with 4 fouls. Gerald Wilkins comes back in the ball game. Trent Tucker goes out.
So Wilkins will be at that guard spot to really get up on the Celtic guards a little bit and perhaps help a lot easier on the double teams in the low post.
With all the good things Dennis Johnson does, one that can't be forgotten is the fact that he is a tremendous clutch free throw shooter down the stretch. And
he loves to take clutch shots on the court, not just free throws.
He missed the second. 3:20 to go and a 6-point lead. Ewing inside, foul, and he'll go to the line. How many people expected the New York Knicks, who are getting blown out in the third period, and I certainly didn't look to see that as a possibility, to battle the way they have battled back, and they certainly haven't gone to the free throw line all that many times.
They did not get aggressive until the tail end of the third quarter, and that's been a mark of a UB Brown coach team. That defense really is very, very effective, and they didn't use it until the tail end of the third quarter. I was very surprised.
13 points. Now 14 for Ewing in this final period. The good ones rise to the occasion when it counts, and Ewing has done that. It's a 4-point game, and who would have thunk it? 82-78, 3:08 to go. Dennis Johnson picked up on a switch by Cummings. McHale was open for the moment. Ainge going in against Ewing. Offensive foul. Tommy, the Knicks' defensive rotation was nothing short of magnificent there.
Patrick Ewing in particular, he stepped right out there in front of Ainge after Ainge had kind of committed himself to the penetration. Smart move by the rookie.
And lo and behold, the Knicks can come within 2. Wilkins looking for Ewing. Remaining. It's a 2-point ball game. McHale against Cummings. A big shot by Kevin McHale, who has 21 points today.
But they let Cummings play McHale that time one-on-one. You can't do that.
They got too many guys you have to double, Tommy. Celtics. Ewing. And Bird the rebound. Under 2 minutes to go. It's a 4-point Celtic lead. Dennis Johnson. And there'll be a foul, and the Celtics will go to the line.
One of the things the Celtics do so well is that they keep the pressure on you at a key point in the ball game by advancing it to see if your defense is really hustling. That time they caught a couple of the Knicks behind, not hustling, and they almost got a good shot of it. They end up with McHale on the line.
And Ewing took kind of a medium-range shot with a lot of people on him. And he has been the man who has helped bring the Knicks back in the later stages. McHale with the free throw. Ewing on the game has 22 points.
I think the Knicks just waited a little bit too long to unleash that press.
McHale will be looking for his 23rd point. Well, you're absolutely right. When the press went into action, so did the Knicks. And the Knicks want a timeout, trailing by 6. That's our story with under 2 minutes to go in the final period. And the Knicks, who were down by 25 points midway through the third period, have battled back and actually trailed 82-80 before the Celtics have scored 4 in a row. We want to take the time to remind you that our next NBA broadcast will be January 19th when the Lakers, the defending world champions, and the team with the best record in the league take on the Detroit Pistons. Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer, and the fast-breaking Pistons, noon Eastern time.
We're going to see Ewing moments ago go strong to the hoop. That's a tough shot, but he never gives up. But look at the face coming up the court. It's Georgetown basketball again in his mind. We're taking it all, gang.
Everything but the undershirt, right? Meanwhile, each of the Celtics starting front line has double figures in points and rebounds. So no one can say that the Celtics haven't gotten it from their bread and butter today. See what the Knicks do here. Ewing taking it strong to the hoop. Tips it up and in. Ewing with 24 now.
Here comes the press again. Celtics will try and eat up the clock a little bit.
9 on the shot clock. Loose ball. The Knicks have it. 3-on-2 New York. Sparrow is wide open. And Wilkins goes after the loose ball. Winds up in Dennis Johnson's hand, and that's the way the ball bounces. You could say it on that play, Tom. Celtics with a 4-point lead and the ball with 1:10 to go. 9 on the clock. And traveling against Larry Bird, and that's what Bill Walton thinks of that call.
I tell you, the Celtics have not gotten a good shot the last 2 trips up the court because of the press.
Ewing. And it's 86-84. Under a minute to play. Can the New York Knicks cap a phenomenal comeback here? They're down by 2. Ewing has 18 points in this 4th period. Dennis Johnson going in. And the Knickerbockers can tie it up. Foul is on Dennis Johnson. Talk about the bounce of the ball, Tom.
I will tell you this, Dennis Johnson showed me something, took it strong to the hoop, got it over Ewing. It was a difficult shot, but watch this now. The daring do, they both go for the ball. Sparrow hustling, and DJ goes down and fouled Sparrow. So
Dennis Johnson didn't agree with that, but meanwhile, Rory Sparrow was on the line with a chance to tie it up. This is our amazing story if you haven't been around for a while, and now the Boston Celtics are faced with the fact that they have squandered a 25-point lead, and that's the timeout story. The crowd is going wild, but they're cool in the huddles. Let's talk about the Celtics first and then the Knicks, Tom.
well, it's going to be Celtics ball, Dick. I wouldn't be a bit surprised for them to go to their strength, go to the matchup they think will work the best. That has been McHale against Cummings, who is still in the ball game, or perhaps Parrish against Ewing.
And you must know that Hubie Brown and the New York Knicks figure that that's what the Celtics are going to do.
Well, we're looking at Larry Bird, and somebody will be on him. If they double down on the big people, maybe Dennis Johnson or Danny Ainge will have to hit that outside shot.
34 seconds to go in the 4th period, and this place is bedlam.
They'll work the clock down.
Bird is waiting. They're looking at McHale. Cummings all over him. 8 on the shot clock. McHale in close, stripped away. 13 seconds to go. The Knicks can take the lead. And the Celtics have it. 2 seconds to go. Dennis Johnson shot. No good. We're going to overtime. Each team had a chance to get the go-ahead basket. And we're going to a 5-minute overtime session. We're back here in a game that has boggled the mind. The New York Knicks, with a 9-19 record, trail the Boston Celtics by 25 points with 6.5 minutes to go in the 3rd period. They started their comeback and now have sent the Boston Celtics, with the 2nd-best record in the league, into overtime. 86-86 in an improbable script, and Patrick Ewing has been the engineer.
And very effective offensively down that stretch. But that press defense is what really did it for the Knicks. It got them going aggressively to the basket.
In the overtime period, 5 minutes, on the 4th foul, teams will shoot a bonus. They tack on 1 timeout, so the Celtics have 3 timeouts plus the 20. The Knicks have 3. And we're going to have a foul right at the top.
On Robert Parrish on the jump.
Robert Parrish with the foul, and the Knicks setting the play. It was no foul. It was an interference, so it's New York ball, no foul against Boston. The Knicks have never led in this game until now.
They can smell it.
The Celtics have to be in shock, but the Knicks have not won it yet. They have made the long climb back. Ainge ties it up for Boston.
And Ewing has hurt his ankle.
Patrick Ewing is limping and has hurt his ankle or his knee, and maybe his knee, and timeout is called. And if there's anything that's going to put a damper on things here in Madison Square Garden, it's Patrick Ewing limping to the bench.
He has been their offense down the stretch. And they just don't have another player to take his place.
They don't have another man you can call a franchise right now who's been healthy.
Here's where Ewing hurt his ankle. He's down in good position. He goes out there to Danny Ainge to try and stop the jump shot, and he comes down on the side of his foot. We didn't see it was out of screen, and he goes up court, and he's limping.
Patrick Ewing has scored 26 points in the game, 18 of them in the final period, and 10 rebounds. But you know, there was a story in regulation that forced this game into overtime, that foiled the Celtics' last opportunity.
McHale tried to take advantage of Cummings, but he waited much too long to go at Cummings. It allowed the double team to develop, and off the Knicks went with the ball, and they ended up having a good chance to win it, but it ended up in a tie.
The report from the bench, Dr. Norman Scott is there with Mike Saunders, is a jammed right knee. Pat Ewing has a jammed right knee. The Knicks calling a timeout are left with 2 full timeouts. The score is 88-88 as Sparrow and Ainge both hit jump shots. But there's the story right here.
Well, that's going to have the most dramatic effect on the last 4.5 minutes of this ball game. As you know, when you have an injury like this to a key player, it either does one or 2 things. You either bounce back strong and say, let's win it, we were doing it anyway, or the team folds its tent and says, look, we're not going to be able to win it without Patrick Ewing. I'm kind of anxious to see which one they take.
He is gingerly testing it. On the side, the Knicks will go with Cummings. Let's see him near the ball. That's where it happens.
He goes right up to try and block Ainge, and he comes down, I believe, on Ainge's foot.
So the Knicks will have Cummings or Sparrow, Wilkins, and Bannister. Basically a small, well, it's not small with Cummings in there. I tell you, Wilkins, the rookie, has really done well. They're posting up Ainge. Sparrow going inside. Ball knocked away. Might have been Larry Bird. Ewing's going to come back in the ball game. The score is tied and nearly a minute gone in the overtime. Ewing feels well enough to come back in. Sparrow on DJ. Bannister helping out. Ainge, 3 on the shot clock. Parrish, with 1 second, hits the basket.
I tell you, that was a lucky one for the Celtics. They worked the clock down and almost didn't come up with a good shot.
24 for Robert Parrish, leading scorer and rebounder for the Celtics. Ewing waiting for a chance to come back. Cummings won't take the shot against McHale. Wilkins, long range, is way short. And Parrish.
That's what is evident on this ball club. When Ewing isn't in there, they don't know who to go to.
Boston by 2, and they have the ball. And we're in overtime. Knicks came from way back to tie it up. They were down by 25 points. Parrish. Air ball. McHale fighting Cummings. No foul, but the Knicks with the ball. And Missing, but there's Orr to tie it in. Orr on the follow-up as Ewing cheers from the sideline. And Orr knocks it out of bounds. What a heated game this is, and Pat Ewing comes back.
Looks like he's ready.
2:49 remaining in overtime. 90-90. McHale hits the fall away. Looks like Celtics are getting their outside shooting range here in the OT.
What they were doing, Dick, is spending too much time worrying about working the clock down instead of taking the best shot that presents itself.
2.5 to play. In this first overtime session, Ewing double team, Orr over Bird. Cummings and Ainge fight. Turnover, 4-on-2 for the Knicks, and Orr pulls up with it.
That was a great defensive play by Pat Cummings to knock that ball loose from Danny Ainge.
2 minutes to go in this first overtime session. Bird against Orr, foul. And Larry Bird will go to the line. He has scored 21 points, and Orr is fouled out of the ball game.
Here's the third great defensive play by Cummings. Watch him from behind, knock it out of Ainge's hand. And believe me, that saved an easy 2 points for the Celtics.
But Louis Orr has fouled out, 10 points and 9 rebounds, and a terrific defensive job no matter who he was guarding today, Tommy.
He does not go for fakes, Louis Orr. He stays on the ground, so boy, you are in trouble right away.
He had to be a power forward, a small forward, defend some of those big men for the Celtics.
And he made a key hoop too, Dick, right before he fouled out on that rebound basket on a fast break. So he's been hustling on the break too.
Ernie Grunfeld replaces him. He's steady. There's Bill Walton, who has not seen all that much action. The Celtics lead 94-92. The Knicks have not had the lead at all in this ball game. It's still New York ball. And 14 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, it's going into Ewing, wouldn't you think?
It has almost every time. Ewing has 26 points. It was quiet until the fourth period. Cummings. This is the hook shot. Cummings gets it back. And they're going to call the foul on Pat Cummings. That's 5 on Cummings.
Well, they go to one Pat or the other at crunch time. Here's Cummings with the short hook shot, but McHale comes down with the rebound. He gets attacked by 2 of the Knicks. It looked like Cummings may have stripped him cleanly, but the foul is charged to Pat Cummings.
Coming into this ball game, if you looked at the records, you'd say this is a mismatch, and for most of the game it was. But then the Knicks went to work and forced the game in overtime, and now McHale will try to give the Celtics a 4-point lead. 1:37 remaining in the overtime session.
That's a big miss.
3-point lead. Ewing trying to get position on Parrish. And the rebound by Dennis Johnson.
Everybody rebounds at key points for the Celtics.
95-92 in favor of Boston. Cummings trying to deny McHale, who's fouled. And Ewing limping out on the court. He is playing hurt. Make no mistake about that. He is hurting out there. Meanwhile, Cummings is fouled out of the ball game. That's his 6th foul. So the Knicks have lost Orr and Cummings, 2 of their starting forwards today on foul.
That's been the problem for the Knicks most of the year, is that they don't have a lot of big people to go to when the Knicks get in foul trouble. When a Ewing or a Cummings gets in foul trouble. Bannister has played fairly well. Bailey's been hurt. He played pretty well today. I'm surprised he's not in this ball game at this point.
McHale is 13 for 16 from the line. And gives the Celtics a 5-point lead, and the Knicks will call a timeout. They have 1 timeout remaining. It's been a struggle, but the Celtics have a 5-point lead with 1:09 on the clock remaining. And of course, we all wish you what remains of the happy holiday. Ewing goes up and gets the basket. And of course, above all, don't drink and drive. We cannot emphasize that enough. 1 minute to go and a 3-point lead for the Celtics, 97-94. Celtics are not out of the woods yet by any means.
Believe that.
Runfeld all over Bird. Runfeld is pesky. Bird missing. And the Knicks with 43 seconds to go and a very big possession for them right here. But Wilkins throws the ball away. 37 seconds to go. Wilkins has played a fine game as the rookie here. Tough competition. Trent Tucker is one of the leading three-point shooters in the NBA. He is not on the floor right now for the Knicks.
Celtics still have to get a good shot after working the clock down. 5
on the shot clock. Larry Bird misses. Ewing the rebound. Timeout. The Knicks have used their last timeout here. 16 seconds remaining, and the Knicks needing 3 points. And so far, Trent Tucker has not taken off that warm-up, Jack.
I'll tell you right now, Dick, that Larry Bird on that last play showed me the problems that he's having. He was not free and easy getting those tweener shots, as we call them. You know, not an outside shot, not a layup. He was miraculous with those type of things. And he considers himself to be the guy that has to make those shots. He took it, and it was no good.
He's 8 for 25, so he's not having a good game. And you're looking at his last shot with Wilkins in his face. It was a missed shot, but...
Yeah, but look how long it was. You never saw Larry Bird with that type of shot. I mean, they were almost automatic, those tweener shots.
It's either to the left or the right, but you know it's going to be on the mark.
That's exactly right.
All right, 16 seconds to go, and the Knicks are down by 3 points. And Trent Tucker is going, I think, back into the ball game. There's Tucker, and he is the three-point shooter, one of the league's best right now. He is third in the NBA.
You know, Sparrow's pretty good, and Runfeld's pretty good. So they've got enough guys to get it up from the outside. The Celtics made some strategic mistakes and not really taking the best shot that presented itself without working the clock down to under 8 seconds.
Are you ready? Give it to him. As soon as you give it to him. Come right down and post up, Patrick. Right there. Right there. Are you ready? You got an opening 3. Take it. You don't, whack it in right inside the Patrick. Okay? Score. Now hold on. White. With Patrick on the ball.
Looks like they're going to go strong inside as their first option. Is that what it looks like to you?
I think they'll go for the three-pointer. The Celtics may play it, and if they get challenge them on a three-pointer, they'll get it inside.
Big difference in this game has been at the free throw line, where the Celtics have outscored the Knicks 32-14. There's the timeout story, and the Knicks are out of them. 16 seconds to go. Nearly a steal. Tucker for 3. Ties it up. Trent Tucker did not have much time to look at the basket before he fired away. But he's third in the NBA. And Hubie Brown put him in for just that reason.
Parashaw's makes the steal, but there it gets over to Tucker on the weak side of the court. Before the defender could get out of his face, the shot was up and away, and the Celtics still have 11 seconds to go. But look at this. Trent Tucker, a happy guy.
And the Knicks will take their chances, Tommy, because they didn't have much time to get that shot. They were hoping that they would get as many opportunities as possible, but you're right, it gives the Celtics 11 seconds to try to win it.
Well, all you can do is take the best shot that presents itself, which is what Trent Tucker did. They were trying to work for the three-pointer, and if it wasn't there, they still might have been able to get the rebound, pull it out, and get another shot going. So you don't wait to run the clock down to try the ball game up. You take the shot right away.
All right, now the Celtics have the ball. Larry Bird has not been shooting well. Does Bird get the ball, or does someone else get the ball for that last shot?
Nobody else has really kind of got it in his head that he's the guy that's supposed to do it other than Larry Bird. He's been historically doing it for the last several years. So to give it to somebody else and say, you do it for us right now, is kind of a tough job for that individual.
The front line for Boston. McHale has 28, Parrish 24, Bird has 23, and of course the last shot could be a shot inside to draw the foul and perhaps win it on the line.
The Celtics historically like to go to the matchups in a key situation that they feel they can work on. McHale will be guarded by a smaller player. So will Robert Parrish. Oh, Ewing will be guarding Robert Parrish. And if they double down, they'll kick it out and probably get an outside shot from DJ or Ainge.
Keep in mind that Ainge is 1 for 5 and Dennis Johnson 1 for 8. So the guards have not done it for the Celtics outside today. 11 seconds to go and they're trapped. Now they're back into the order. Man to man. Ainge puts it up. McHale. 1 second. And we're going to another overtime. A 25-point Boston Celtic lead evaporated. And after an overtime session, we go into our second 5-minute overtime period. Pat Cummings and Louis Orr, the starting forwards for the Knicks, have fouled out of the ball game. For the Celtics, Parrish, McHale, and Seasting have 4 fouls. And this has been an improbable series of developments here at the Garden.
I think the Celtics made a strategic mistake in that overtime by not going right away for the best shot that presented itself in the low post. They were trying to eat up the clock. Then they went to the low post with under 10 seconds. And they ended up with not good shots. They allowed the defense to get at them much too quickly. So maybe they've learned a little bit of a lesson, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they try to exploit Bannister in that low post.
Timeout Story. The Knicks have 3 and the Celtics 3 plus a 20. So each team now is taxed on 3 timeouts. This is a 5-minute period. Bonus after the 4th foul and the tip won by the Celtics. 1961, they had a double overtime here at Madison Square Garden, and the Knicks won by 1 point. Inside, and a great move. Backdoor play.
That's one of the old-time Celtic plays that they save for such opportunities. They've been running it successfully the last couple of weeks. Usually getting layups.
Dennis Johnson scored. Grunfeld coming back, ties it up. 99 apiece. How often do you see double overtime, and we haven't reached 100 for either side? Seasting in the game, guarded by Wilkins. Wilkins has grown up a lot in this one, for sure. Double team on Dennis Johnson, and a 3-second violation called against the Celtics.
A double with Patrick Ewing, an awful big doubling man, and Dennis Johnson couldn't see an open teammate.
Ewing over Parrish. And the Knicks lead 101-99.
They have not found a way to stop Patrick Ewing's offense this half and overtime.
This is only the 2nd time the Knicks have had the lead in the game. Larry Bird comes back and Bannister the rebound. And the Knicks can open it up to 4 points. Boston led by 25 with 6.5 minutes remaining in the 3rd period. Ewing and McHale with a terrific play. It'll still be Nick ball, but Ewing was challenged head-on, one-on-one by McHale.
And Bird is having really problems on the offense, but watch McHale come from the weak side to help out on the block and take a sure hoop away from Ewing.
Wilkins going into the hoop. And the Knicks are playing with a confidence that they haven't shown all that much in games this year.
As a big guard, Wilkins has got it, I'll tell you. He can take it to the hoop against anybody.
The lead is 4, the biggest Knick lead of the game, and McHale is fouled and will go to the line.
Wilkins gets by Dennis Johnson easily, and watch him go up high over McHale, and that's no easy job because McHale is great at timing the release of shots close to the basket.
Bannister's foul, and McHale will shoot. (103 to 100). Sparrow guarded by Seasting. Bannister. McHale is closing in and packing in the middle. They're posting up Wilkins on Dennis Johnson, but Bannister hits.
I'm out here to shoot. That's what I'm going to do.
And a 5-point New York lead. The underdog Knicks have gone wild. And the Celtics call timeout with 2:37 to go in second overtime. And New York by 7 now.
Pushing up fast, produces layups off the steal. Here's Sparrow strong to the hoop before Dennis Johnson can get back to protect. And look at his happy crew of Knickerbockers.
You give them confidence, who knows what they can do. And Ewing with a season's high of 30 points. His previous high was 29 against these same Celtics.
Well, it took them 3 quarters to shake off the eggnog, Dick. They have certainly come out and done a remarkable job to end up with a 7-point lead. I mean, we were putting the nails in the coffin early, and here they are winning this ball game.
Amazingly, a swing of 32 points in this game with 6.5 minutes remaining in the third. 32-point swing, and now all the pressure in the world is on the shoulders of the men in green.
Casey Jones, I'm sure, is a very unhappy man at this point. His bench did not produce, and his go-to guy that has really done the job for him down the years in a miraculous fashion, Larry Bird, has really not been able to hit those key baskets.
And the maligned New York Knicks guard, who earlier were not giving support to the big men. Sparrow has 20 points, and Wilkins has 12. And that's what the Knicks have done, but let's keep in mind, 2:37 to go. There is enough time, plenty of time, for the Celtics to come back.
Casey Jones counters now with Bill Walton for Robert Parrish. Danny Ainge is out of the ball game, and Jerry Seasting has been in for most of this overtime.
Now, Walton has not played. He has been on the bench for a long time, so he's not in the flow right now.
Absolutely right, Dick. And Parrish was having a pretty good offensive evening or afternoon for himself.
2.5 minutes to go. It started in the afternoon, but now we're into the evening, Tom. Seasting working against Wilkins. 8 on the shot clock. Bird, and we will have, let's see, a foul against the Knicks. It's against Grunfeld. That's the first foul. Here's Robert Parrish, who has scored 24. Rebound by Bannister.
Bird just continues to have shooting woes.
8 for 26 for Larry Bird today. Winding down to 2 minutes to go in the second overtime. And a Boston foul away from the ball. Walton commits the foul, and that's Boston's first.
Walton trying to be a little bit more physical with Ewing than perhaps Parrish was.
It may be too late to be physical with Ewing in this game. Who knows? Grunfeld inside to Ewing. McHale and Walton, and the Boston foul is against Kevin McHale. 5 on Kevin.
Ernie Grunfeld as a penetrator, come on, quit it. He came under control and made the defense react and left Ewing open on the baseline. The Celtics hustled back to get at him, but they end up fouling him. But the guy that made the play is that man that you're looking at, Grunfeld.
Now Ainge comes in for Dennis Johnson. Why that move?
I think DJ may be a little bit tired, and they're hoping to get some outside shooting in there. They gave Ainge a rest.
What a magnificent game for Patrick Ewing, who had only 8 points after 3 periods of the game. Don't forget, he had jammed his knee. We have so many heroes in this ball game. Trent Tucker with a 3-point shot to help send it into the second overtime. And now the Knicks lead by 9, 109 to 100.
It's an important win for the Knicks to make them believe in themselves.
Couldn't do it a better way. Down by 25. Walton bombs away. Sparrow the rebound, and the Knicks can't be denied right now. And a foul. It'll be against Danny Ainge, and the crowd can sense it.
Little people helping big people. Watch the guard come in there and pull it down. Roy Sparrow pushes it up, fouled by Danny Ainge.
Scott Wedman comes in for Larry Bird. Bird goes out with 23 points. And a very tough shooting game, as you see how cold the Celtics have been and how hot the Knicks are in the overtime, the second overtime.
this is the type of thing that's been plaguing the Celtics. They've relied so much on Larry Bird at the key parts of ball games to carry him, and he's been having shooting problems.
8 for 27 for Larry Bird. Part of the story, Ainge for 3. And now they say over and back, stepping on the line was Ewing. And it'll be Boston ball, down by 11 points. No basket.
They said he had 1 foot out of bounds, Dick, before he caught the pass back from Walton.
Knicks and Ainge fouls Wilkins. But Danny Ainge, that's his 5th foul. The score was tied at 99, and since then, the Celtics have been outscored by 12-1.
That is surprising. They usually have that power inside game that they can rely on when they need to score at the tail end of a ball game. It did not happen tonight because of the real defensive pressure that the Knicks put on them. It took them away from their normal game plan.
That ignited it for the Knicks. Patrick Ewing maybe having the time of his life.
That was rookie enthusiasm, but important for Patrick Ewing to believe that his teammates can band together to defeat a really good basketball team.
Wilkins misses the free throws. 1:20 to show. 111 to 100. The Knicks. Rick Carlisle into the ball game. And Greg Kite is also in there. So Casey Jones has said we blew a 25-point lead and it's history as far as we're concerned. And Patrick Ewing goes out. 32 points, 11 rebounds for Ewing. Bailey replaces him. So the Knicks will win 3 in a row to match their season's high. And the Celtics have now lost 5 of their last 9 games. Steal by Carlisle. Under a minute to go. Block. Seasting runs into Grunfeld. Patrick Ewing left the court. You remember he jammed the knee, so he has gone to the Knicks dressing room early here.
We just hope that they haven't won the battle and lost the war with that injury by playing Ewing with perhaps a serious knee problem. He wanted to play, you could tell that.
Seasting. And the rebound by Bannister. Ahead of the field is Wilkins. A stunning upset by the New York Knicks, who are down by 25 in a slow, methodical game that had the crowd sitting on its hands. But how things changed in the last 6 minutes of the third period throughout the final and in 2 exciting overtime sessions. And the Knicks have outscored the Celtics 16-3 in the second overtime.
UB believes in that press defense. It makes them aggressive. They attack, and he really got the job done here today.
You saw the expressions of King and Bird. In many ways, that says it all.
Bird, during the summer months, was not able to really work out because of the elbow injury and the finger injury that he had. They told him to lay off. He started to jog. He hurt his back, and it's been bothering him ever since.
Tight with the 2 free throws. But the Celtics had the second-best record in the league coming into this one. They lost to Philadelphia in their last outing. And the Knicks will beat them for the first time since the Knicks won Game 6 of their playoff 2 years ago. Walton kicks it out of bounds. 113 to 102. Carlisle at the buzzer, but the Knicks win in a stunning upset. They were down by 25 points and they came back, and this has got to be one of the big comebacks we have seen in many a year, Tom.
There's no question about that. I mean, everybody in the building was ready to forget the Knicks. They were booing the ball club. All of a sudden, that press turned it around.